Have you ever stopped to think that what you're sweeping up and tossing away every morning is actually straight-up cash you're leaving on the table? Most folks look at manure, feathers, or pond water as a cleanup headache, a drain on their energy, or worse, just a breeding ground for flies. But today, we're breaking that cycle for good. For a farmer with an entrepreneurial mindset, there's no such thing as waste. There's only a resource you haven't figured out how to sell yet. If your animals aren't paying for their own feed with what's coming out of the back end, you're missing out on half of your business potential. In this video, I'm going to reveal a system of homestead financial engineering applied to 7 types of animals you likely already have on your land. For each one, we're going to break down 3 specific ways to monetize their waste, moving from simple cleanup to creating high-value, branded products. My goal is for you to walk away with a clear roadmap to make your farm truly self-sufficient, a place where the waste pays the feed bills while your family eats the highest quality farm-to-table food practically for free. It's not just about working hard under the sun, it's about working with biological intelligence so every ounce of organic matter turns into profit. Let's dive in. 1. The rabbit, the alchemist of the homestead. Rabbits are basically small, fuzzy fertilizer factories. Pound for pound, they are the most efficient animals for converting forage into what we call black gold. Unlike almost any other animal on the farm, a rabbit's digestive system produces cold manure. This means it has such a perfectly balanced ratio of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, typically at 2:1 NPK, that it doesn't need to age or compost for months. It won't burn the roots of even the most sensitive plants. Furthermore, because rabbits have a fast-moving monogastric digestive tract, their manure is virtually free of viable weed seeds, which is a massive selling point for organic gardeners who hate weeding. The first way to turn this into cash is by targeting the boutique gardening market. Serious orchid growers, bonsai enthusiasts, and people into high-end indoor plants are constantly hunting for rabbit manure because it provides slow-release nutrients without the ammonia risk of other fertilizers. To monetize this, the secret is in the shelf appeal. Collect the manure cleanly using wire floors and trays, air dry it to drop the weight and kill the smell, and bag it in professional 5 or 10-pound sacks. Label it as Premium Cold Cure Fertilizer. This simple branding can take a standard bag of manure and quintuple its price at a local garden center. The second way is all about zero-cost groceries. If you put that rabbit manure directly into your home garden, you're closing a perfect economic loop. Just 10 breeding does can generate enough fertilizer to maintain a vegetable plot that feeds a family of 4 year-round. By applying these nitrogen pellets to your lettuce, tomatoes, and peppers, you're cutting out 100% of your spending on synthetic fertilizers. You're essentially producing organic, certified quality food for the price of some hay and water. The third way to monetize is by brewing liquid gold, or actively aerated compost tea, AACT. By soaking rabbit manure in oxygenated water for 24 hours, you multiply beneficial aerobic bacteria and fungi that act as a natural defense against soil-borne pathogens. This is a massive hit with urban gardeners who want a living fertilizer. Sell it in concentrated bottles as a garden vitamin and immune boost. It's a high-margin liquid product that turns a solid waste into a recurring weekly revenue stream for your farm. 2. The chicken, the nitrogen powerhouse. If the rabbit is about balance, the chicken is about raw horsepower. Poultry litter is famous for being one of the most potent fertilizers on Earth because it's packed with nitrogen, but it's hot, meaning you need a strategy so it doesn't become a liability. The first way to monetize this is through bulk sales to local fruit or grain farmers. Nitrogen is the fuel that makes crops pop, and chicken manure is a way cheaper and more sustainable source than synthetic urea. To make this a business, you want to use the deep litter method. By layering the manure with carbon-heavy sources like straw or wood shavings, you achieve the ideal 30:1 carbon-to-nitrogen ratio. This triggers a thermophilic fermentation that captures nitrogen and neutralizes ammonia odors before they even hit the air. This delivers a stabilized, high-value compost that a serious farmer will buy by the truckload because it builds soil structure and humic acid over time. The second way to leverage the chicken is through radical pasture improvement. If you have sheep, goats, or cattle, using aged chicken litter on your grazing acres can double your forage production per square foot. This means your livestock are eating better grass grown right on your land, allowing you to slash your spending on expensive commercial feed bags. In a closed-loop farm, the chicken fertilizes the grass feeds the cows, and the cows put meat in your freezer. This operational saving is cash in the bank at the end of every month. The third way is using it as a compost accelerator for your community. Because of its high bacterial load and thermal energy, chicken manure can break down tons of yard waste or wood chips in record time. You can actually charge local landscapers to drop off their organic waste, use your chicken's manure to cook it down into garden gold, and then sell the finished compost back to the community. You're getting paid for the raw materials and then getting paid again for the finished product. 3. The quail, high-octane vitality. The quail might be small, but its waste is the most concentrated nutrient source you can find. Because of their lightning-fast metabolism, their manure, often called quail gold, is like a supercharged version of chicken manure, boasting higher levels of phosphorus, which is essential for root development and fruit set. The first way to monetize this is through the niche, high-end floriculture market. Cut flowers like dahlias and roses need specific spikes in phosphorus and potassium to get those show-stopping blooms, and processed quail manure is the secret weapon for flower farmers. Since quail are raised in controlled racks, collecting the manure is clean and easy. This gives you a pure product that you can sell at a premium to greenhouse owners who want the absolute best for their exhibition crops. The second way to put quails to work is through bioheating. In colder states, the fermentation of quail manure mixed with pine shavings under the cages generates a constant, natural heat. This reduces your need for electric or propane brooder heaters, protecting your birds and keeping egg production steady even when the grid goes down or prices spike. Your cash here comes from massive energy savings. Finally, the third way is by creating signature potting mixes for the heirloom tomato market. Suburban gardeners obsessed with growing those massive, flavor-packed tomatoes need high-density nutrition that won't flush out of the soil. By incorporating quail droppings, you provide the silica and trace minerals that strengthen stalks and enhance flavor. You can take stabilized quail manure, mix it with peat moss or coconut coir, and sell it as Homestead Pro Mix Tomato Edition under your own brand. You're selling convenience and guaranteed results, turning a waste product into a shelf-ready item that builds your reputation as a soil scientist. 4. The pig, the regenerative ag engine. When most people think of pigs, they just see pork chops. But a hog is actually one of the best fertilizer factories on the planet. However, because they are omnivores, their waste needs a bit more tech to be profitable and safe. The first way to monetize this is through industrial-scale aerobic composting for soil recovery. Pig manure, once it hits those high temperatures in a managed compost pile, becomes a massive soil regenerator. It restores the complex soil microbiome that heavy chemical use often kills off, bringing back the vital fungal networks that feed plant roots and improve soil structure. Farmers looking to restore life to exhausted land crave this stuff because it holds moisture like a sponge. You aren't selling small bags here. You're selling by the ton to reforestation projects and regenerative ag farms. The second way, which is a game changer for a self-sufficient homestead, is the backyard methane digester. By putting pig waste into an anaerobic tank, you get two products that save you real money: biogas and liquid digestate. This biogas can be piped to your outdoor kitchen, or used to heat your farrowing pens to keep newborn piglets warm, wiping out your propane bill. The liquid digestate is a fermented fertilizer packed with natural growth hormones that stimulate root expansion. It's liquid gold for your crops. The third way to make money is using it as the primary feed for a worm farm. While pig waste is heavy, once it's pre-composted, red wiggler worms love it. This allows you to turn a dirty residue into premium worm castings, exponentially increasing its value while killing any odor or contamination on your land. 5. Sheep and goats, premium manure berries. Sheep and goats clear out the brush no one else wants to touch, and they leave behind a resource that is incredibly easy to sell because of its logistical convenience. Their manure naturally comes in dry, almost odorless pellets, which is way easier to handle than the wet slurry of cows or pigs. The first way to monetize this is the indoor jungle market. Because it's a mild fertilizer and looks clean, you can sell these manure berries in boutique packaging for folks in suburban apartments. It is the gold standard for slow-release fertilization, providing a steady stream of nutrients every time the owner waters their plants without the risk of overfeeding or burning. The second way is targeting high-value orchards. If you grow avocados, citrus, or nuts, goat manure is your best friend because of its high potassium, which is what makes fruit sweet, heavy, and shelf-stable. By top-dressing your trees with this waste, you're ensuring a premium harvest you can sell for more money, all while skipping the expensive commercial foliar sprays. The third way is contract grazing. Landowners with overgrown hillsides will pay you to bring your herd in for eco-clearing. You get paid for the service, your animals get a free meal, and the real kicker is that they leave the land fertilized for the owner's next project. It's a triple-win business model where you're essentially charging people to let you feed and fertilize with your livestock. 6. Ducks and geese, fertigation and pond wealth. Waterfowl present a unique opportunity because their waste usually ends up in the water. Instead of seeing a dirty pond as a problem, you need to see it as pre-diluted, ready-to-use liquid fertilizer. The first way to make money is through aquaponics. Canal that nitrogen-rich water into beds of watercress, lettuce, or ornamental pond plants. These plants act as natural filters, absorbing the nitrogen from the water to grow at insane speeds, allowing you to sell two products, the duck meat and the hydroponic greens. The second way is direct fertigation. If you have a drip irrigation system, that duck pond water is a literal shot of adrenaline for your market garden. Using this water to irrigate injects nutrients directly into the roots every time you water. This can slash your chemical fertilizer bill by 30%, which is straight profit at the end of the season. The third way is monetizing physical byproducts like down and feathers. After you process the birds for meat, the feathers are usually trash. But high-quality goose down has a huge market in the craft world for stuffing or decor. Even the low-grade feathers can be processed into feather meal, a high-protein feed component for other livestock after a hydrolysis process. It's about clawing back money from what most people just throw in the bin. 7. The earthworm, the ultimate closer. The earthworm is the final piece of the puzzle. It takes the waste of all the other animals and turns it into the most expensive product in organic agriculture, worm castings. The first way to monetize this is obvious, selling the castings. This stuff doesn't compete with manure. It's in a league of its own. It sells for double or triple the price because it's packed with microbial life that jumpstarts soil instantly. Every local garden center wants this on their shelves. The second way is live protein. A worm population doubles every few months under the right conditions. This population explosion isn't a mess. It's a high-protein supplement for your chickens and quails. Worms are rich in essential amino acids like lysine, which directly improves eggshell strength and deepens the orange color of your yolks. By feeding worms back to your birds, you're slashing the need to buy soy meal or industrial concentrates. Finally, the third way is selling starter kits. There's a constant wave of new homesteaders who want to start composting. You can sell them a red wiggler starter colony, along with the technical know-how. It's a high-profit business because the worms reproduce themselves for free, and your only cost is the waste from your other animals that we've already covered. We've covered a lot of ground today, and it all points to one thing. The difference between a farm that struggles and a farm that thrives isn't how much land you have, it's how you see the value in every corner. True financial freedom on the homestead is built by closing loops and working in harmony with the natural cycles of your land. When you manage to turn the waste of one species into the energy for the next, you are creating an economic fortress that is shielded from market crashes and rising feed prices. You are no longer just a farmer, you are a soil engineer and a steward of abundance. Don't look at cleaning your pens as a chore. Look at it as harvesting your most valuable resource. Every bag of fertilizer you sell and every dollar you save on feed is a step closer to the life of independence you wanted when you started this journey. You are cultivating more than just crops and animals. You are cultivating your freedom. Pick one of these 7 animals today and start monetizing. The land rewards those who innovate with what others throw away. Start small, think big, and build a machine of abundance for your family. To your success, my fellow breeder. Until next time.